So I'm creating this video. I got to thinking about, the other differences between Christians and the world. But, even though we as Christians are separated from the way the world does things to a point, there is still Christians that are operating according to some of the way the world does things. And in that, they walk in a completely different way than what Jesus had taught. Now, there's a lot of Christians out there that say, I want to live for God, I want to do this for God, I want to do that for God. But when you follow this world in any kind of aspect, does that mean that a Christian can become double minded? Here you're living for the world and yet you're living for Christ. I mean, which way is it? You know? Do we want to be double minded, or do we want to live fully for God apart from the way this world acts? What does that show the world when we're operating in some fashion the way the world operates? You know? So I got to thinking about, my past experiences and regarding love and stuff like that, and what I had dealt with, when I liked a girl, and what was said to me. And here at the beginning, I never thought much of it, but as I come to know God as my source, it comes to light, these differences. And, maybe it's something that a lot of Christians haven't given thought to. But when you really want to live for God, when you really want to give your decisions to Him, allowing Him to take the driver's wheel, then these decisions become apparent. What do you really want to live for? So I'm going to entitle this video, Holding On to the World in Some Fashion. Now, when Christians focus on this world and its way of doing things, they hold on to the belief systems. And I mean, what kind of belief systems do we learn in this world? I mean, what have you learned from your parents? Or what have you learned from your grandparents? What have you learned from your friends? Stuff that is taught generation upon generation, and then it's ingrained in you. And then soon the whole world operates in this in some fashion, to where it once became, you know, let's see, it became an idea. And then when it worked for some people, it became an ideal. And then eventually it becomes an expectation. So, the Christians operate in belief systems, and it's carried on to their children. The children carry it on to their children, and generation upon generation. And belief systems are ingrained for years upon years. I mean, you may believe something because somebody told you something else, or they told you a certain thing. And so then you believe that without testing it empirically. So these patterns are set and enforced through families, friends, and those of the world. I mean, what kind of thinking could be passed down? Well, you need to work to be financially successful. The man is the main breadwinner. Uh, Before you marry, you must have this in place. And so when these are enforced, then the eyes then turn onto finances, and it pushes man to toil. Not only man, but woman. It pushes them to toil to attain what this world says that you have to attain. Now, there's a conflict between God's way and the world's way. Jesus, and the way he lived, was for the Father's glory and to give his followers apart from the world in its tyranny. Give his followers a different way, a different path to walk in, instead of the path they normally